Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more, the Women's Broadcast TV Network, IT247. And here, where are we, Joanna?
We are at the amazing Grammy Museum, and we are so excited with our special guest who is going to be debuting. Why don't you go ahead and introduce him, Brian?
Guess who this guy is next to me? No introduction, obviously, the one and the only.
How are you? Sergio Mendez.
And
Pleasure.
the director of this. Give us your name.
John Scheinfeld.
Talk about this film. How did it come about? Because again, we were talking before we started to roll. I used to play the music in the drum and bugle corps world, the marching band world. So we always had those influences of things, but we never knew where the music came from, how it came about.
It's all my mother's fault, basically. When I was growing up, my mom used to play Sergio Mendez in Brazil 66 around the house all the time. She would dance around the house, and it was just a very upbeat, happy sound. So I was exposed to it from the time I was a kid. And so Flash Ahead, I always had him in my iTunes library and on my iPod and on my phone. And then Concord Records, which is Sergio's label, had come to me and said, how would you like to make a film about Sergio? And I hesitated, about 5 seconds. And I said, yes, I will do that. I'll do that for my mom. And so we met, and why don't you pick up the story after we met?
Well, we met at my house in Woodland Hills, LA.
Everybody's come to your house.
It's, and it took me 3 minutes to fall in love with John. And then, of course, I saw the beautiful work he did with Harry Nilsson and Coltrane and John Lennon, and we talked, and then 2 years we worked together. It was nothing but fun and joy.
And so I had to have a vision for the film, and in looking at Sergio's life and career, several things struck me. One was he has the unique ability to reinvent himself in each decade to make himself relevant. A lot of musicians don't do this, they just sort of stay in the past and that's it. The second thing that struck me is he is a relentless optimist. And the positivity that he exudes is very infectious. And it's in his music and it's in his personality. And that's what we tried to capture in the film, is that attitude of everything is fun and exciting and very positive. And I think that's a great message these days that a film can put out there into the community.
So I've seen the film. I can't wait to see it again. Joanne hasn't seen it yet. What would you say? Is there anything, just a little tidbit you can give her, but not too much?
A little sneak preview.
A sneak preview. I would say we all know about musicians, famous musicians, that are a little crazy. And they throw televisions out of hotel windows.
Right.
That is not this man.
Right.
Sergio is a man who did things the right way, and he's a sensitive person. He cares, and he tries to do things the right way in every aspect of his life and career. And I admire that. And I think you'll see a little bit of that in the film throughout a career that has lasted almost 60 years.
That's amazing. It's really amazing.
For anybody to have a career that long,
I
but to
know.
be on top that long is pretty amazing.
Sergio, talk about what it was like to adapt, going to this. There's an element in there when you're talking about the 70s and you kind of slow down because of family things. Family things change, you come into the US, you go back and forth, but the music started to change. Talk about that.
Well, the music always changed. I mean, since I remember being a little kid in Brazil and listening to songs, and then we had the Carnival, which lasts for a week, which is a annual celebration of fun and joy, and the music is constantly changing, and I like many kinds of music. I love classical music. That's where I started. Love jazz. Then I came to the United States in the early 60s, and I've met some incredible jazz musicians that I loved, like from making a record with Cannonball Adderley, then working with Sinatra. So I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have the chance to work with different people, and I love that. The exchange of music, the thing that you sit down with whoever, with the Common, or Will.i.am, or Frank Sinatra. It's always something interesting, something dynamically happening at the time that is it's hard to put in words. It's almost magical.
Joanna, as a singer, to talk about what it's like for you, because the women that he chose is how I kind of picked the co-host, and I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the style that you have, it's, you know, it's got a frequency to it. And that frequency speaks to the heart, speaks to the soul, and like you were mentioning, there's that joy. And that's a part of, especially in today, we need that joy. You know, that's what attracts people, not someone who's, you know, unhappy or sad, but someone who's joyful. And you really bring that element to women. And I think that's really key for women, because women go through a lot, and we need things that make us feel good.
And I think that again was our goal with the film here,
Mhm.
hence the title, in the key of joy.
Right.
But I think these days, with the world where it is politically, now with the coronavirus and everything, I think being able to go to a film and just feel the joy and the happiness and the positivity of it, and you come out, we've screened this now 4 times for an audience, and everybody comes out with a smile on their face.
Right.
And we love that.
Sergio, when you first saw this, what was your impression of seeing yourself on that screen? What was that like for you? And seeing the history of what you created.
Right. It's a very good question, because I didn't see any of the interviews that John made, and so through the movie, through the film, I knew that John had a lot of footage from the old days, and but I didn't see it until the end, when I came to his studio and we saw it, and it was an amazing experience. You know, it's like, I don't know how to describe. You know.
Well, we were talking after Santa Barbara, how strange it was for you to look up on this big
that
screen
makes a big
and to see yourself and your
Right.
life up
Yeah.
on that big screen.
Makes a big difference. Because originally we saw it on not a computer, but a small room, and once you see the big screen and big sound, but it was a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm. What was your emotion? Like when you saw yourself and you're seeing all these flashes of your life being told, like what was the one key emotion that came out for you as you're sitting there watching yourself?
Several.
Yeah.
It's not one emotion, several emotions.
Several.
There you see your childhood, you see your mother, your father, your wife, your children, and the parts of your life. It's very touching. It's a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the history and the culture of where you come from, of Brazil, what do you think of? What were some of those memories before you got a chance to see it on screen?
Well, Brazil, it's a sunny country.
Mm-hmm.
So summer and outdoors, and people are generally very happy. You know, it's I think it's a culture that have that happiness for many reasons. It's a diverse culture. You know, we had the originally the Portuguese that came in. There was the colonizers. Then we had all the Africa that came to Brazil. They brought that joy also, the rhythms and so that, I think that combination plus the weather makes people happy, and most people are very happy on the streets, and although we have problems down there, like everywhere, but generally I would say Brazilian people are happy.
When it talked about finding what was the most important thing you wanted to portray about his life and the family aspects, because it's hard to keep a lot of things positive, and sometimes there's always the good and the bad in there, but what I saw in there, I saw a guy who was really happy, and family was really, really important to him.
When I'm making a film, I view it as a jigsaw puzzle. If you think about one of your birthdays or Christmas or something, somebody gave you a box of a jigsaw puzzle, and you open up the box and you dump it out, and there's 1,000 pieces. And eventually you fit them all together, and it makes a very pretty picture. But what we do as filmmakers is you could fit those pieces together 5 ways, 10 ways, 50 ways, 100 ways, whereas the jigsaw puzzle, they only fit together one way. So in looking at a life, it was really to try to take, I didn't want to do in 1950 this, 1966 that. So what we wanted to do was take a look at the critical events in his life that shaped the man and shaped the music. So that's what we did. So it's not a year by year thing. So that was part of our goal. And the other thing was really to be able to capture this man's personality and how he approaches his art. And you can tell us how successfully we did that, but that was our goal.
We have to talk about this. as that filmmaker. Joanna, she is a singer, pianist. I'm a drummer, guitarist, being a piano. What do you play? He's got to think about it.
I'm trying to come up with a joke, but it's not coming at the moment. I don't play anything. I played.
But I
see,
want to
that's
say
even
something.
interesting.
I think what I must say now as a pianist, as a musician, John has a musical intuition. So he has that in his soul. He's very musical. He loves melody and rhythm. So although he doesn't play an instrument, but I would say he's very musical. Because sometimes
He
you
did
meet
get it.
people that don't have the musicality, they're open-minded to hear different kinds of sounds. He does have that.
I make documentaries on a wide variety of subjects, but many of mine have been on musicians, and maybe that's why. But it's also I sort of feel like I understand the soul of the musician,
Right.
and that's to answer your question also, Brian. Is I think part of it is I tried to capture his soul as best we could, and in its various aspects. And I think that's what people will see when they see the film is we put him in a number of different circumstances, and then talk to a lot of people that know different sides of Sergio, and from all of that we get that jigsaw puzzle of the pretty picture.
We only have a couple minutes left. What's important to me is I love watching movies. I've always said this to people. I'm a movie whore. You give me something, I will watch anything. Even when it comes, I've been writing down everything I've been watching since 1991, if you can imagine. I can tell you what number, how many I saw a year, and how many a month. So when it comes to this, the reason why I say this, it's important for people to come out to support movies, no matter what, no matter where they may be, whether it's on Hulu, Netflix, Showtimes, or whatever, because this is a good film. What would you say as that director to help get the word out on your film and to get it out there so people can go see his life? This is really important.
I would say this is the right film at the right time. It'll put a smile on your face, it'll make you feel good, you can put the troubles of your life and the world behind when you come to this, and you'll hear a lot of great music. We have 50 songs from Sergio in this film, which is a lot for any film, much less a documentary. So we premiered at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, as you know, and we're now working out distribution for the film. So we're hoping later in the year people will be able to see this first in their local theater, and then after that somewhere streaming or on a pay cable service.
What do you have coming up, and Sergio, what are you working on next?
Right now, I have some thoughts, some ideas, but I'm just, like my son said, I'm just chilling. And,
Well, he just put out a new album.
there's a new album out. Yeah, there's a new album out. It just came out, and was, a lot of guests, including Common, including many other people. I wrote a lot of the songs on the album, and so I'm enjoying that, promoting, making interviews, and giving interviews. I'm not thinking about the next album yet, because this is brand
Yeah,
new,
yeah.
and we worked very hard on the movie, so we're just chilling.
John? I've got two things coming up. On April 21st, a documentary I made about the comedy legend Gary Marshall. It's going to be on ABC. We are going to be the first entertainment documentary that ABC has put in prime time in many, many years. So I'm very excited about that. We're still working on it. We deliver it very soon. And then this fall sometime, it'll be a film in theaters on Herb Alpert.
That's
Wow.
gonna be
Called
great.
Herb Alpert Is, because he is many different things to many people.
Joanna, you got one last question?
Yes, so where do our viewers go to find the updates of the movie release and your album?
I think one is SergioMendez.com.
Okay.
SergioMendezMusic.com or ConcordMusic.com.
And then CrewNetProductions.com, and you'll find it there.
Crewnet Productions.
Once we know what the details are, we'll get them out.
Fabulous.
And hopefully you'll help spread the word as well.
Absolutely.
We will absolutely make sure we spread
Yep.
the word, and for all of us, thank you so much, because this is really important. I miss Santa Barbara. I hate missing that festival. It's one of my favorite festivals in the world, because great movies come out of it. And as someone who's picked movies around the world for stuff, I'm surprised I didn't get my hands on this first. So
That's
now
right.
that I know about it, I can't wait. I've been telling people about it. This is why Joanna and her husband David came up.
Well, we sit in a dark editing room for months on end, putting film together. So when Sergio says it was a small room, it was a small
It
room.
was a small room.
And it's really just our little circle of the creative team.
Right.
So when we went to Santa Barbara, we were in the Libero Theater, which seats 600 some, and it was the first time we'd shown it in front of an audience. And we were both a little nervous. You didn't quite know how it was going to be received.
Right.
And so the film was barely over, and there was a standing ovation for the film.
Wow.
And we looked at each other, and it was just all that
Yes.
hard work
That's
has now
right.
been rewarded. And so we would love for all of your viewers to come and see it, and we think they will have a very similar reaction.
I agree.
One last thing real quick, give the website one more time.
SergioMendezMusic.com.
And crewneckproductions.com.
Thank you, we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.